The Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of the most perplexing mysteries of the 20th century, a chilling tale that has spawned numerous theories ranging from supernatural forces to top-secret military testing. This eerie story revolves around the unexplained deaths of 9 experienced Russian hikers who perished under mysterious circumstances in the Ural Mountains in 1959. The unexplained nature of their deaths, paired with strange evidence and baffling injuries, has turned the Dyatlov Pass incident into an enduring mystery. In January 1959, a group of 10 Soviet students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute set out on a skiing expedition through the northern Ural Mountains. Led by Igor Dyatlov, the group consisted of 8 men and 2 women, all experienced hikers familiar with harsh winter conditions. Their goal was to reach Otorten, a mountain about 10 miles from where their tragedy ultimately unfolded. As part of their expedition, they kept detailed diaries and took numerous photographs, giving us a glimpse into their journey. From their notes, we know they were in high spirits. However, one member, Yuri Yudin, fell ill shortly after the hike began and returned home. His decision to turn back ultimately saved his life, as he would become the lone survivor of the group. When the group failed to return on February 12th as planned, friends and family grew concerned. A search party was assembled on February 20th, and after several days of searching, rescuers stumbled upon a harrowing scene. The hiker's tent was found on the slopes of Kholat Syakhl, a name which ominously translates to Dead Mountain. What rescuers found there defied all logic and reason. The tent was half buried in snow, and it had been cut open from the inside, as if the hikers had needed to escape in a hurry. Footprints showed that the group had fled the tent barefoot or wearing only socks, despite temperatures dipping below -20 degrees Celsius, -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Following these tracks, searchers eventually located the first 2 bodies near the edge of the forest about a mile from the tent. Clad only in underwear, they appeared to have frozen to death. Soon after, the bodies of 3 more hikers, including Dyatlov, were found in positions that suggested they were trying to return to the tent. 2 months later, as the snow began to melt, the remaining 4 hikers were discovered in a ravine further into the woods. These bodies bore severe injuries, including skull fractures and massive internal trauma that one investigator compared to a car crash level of force. One woman's body was missing her tongue, eyes, and parts of her lips. However, there were no external wounds corresponding to the internal injuries, making the findings even more inexplicable. The Soviet authorities launched an investigation, but the findings were shrouded in secrecy. The autopsies revealed that 6 of the hikers had died from hypothermia, while the other 3 succumbed to fatal injuries. The injuries were strange and inconsistent. For instance, one hiker's chest was crushed so severely that it was as if they had been hit by a powerful force, yet no external trauma was visible. Stranger still, several of the hikers' clothing items contained traces of radiation. This baffling discovery led to speculation about potential military involvement or nuclear contamination. Despite these curious details, the Soviet authorities officially attributed the deaths to a compelling natural force and closed the case. Since the incident, the Dyatlov Pass case has inspired countless theories. Here are some of the most prominent. Avalanche theory. Some researchers suggest that the group may have been woken by an avalanche or the threat of one, prompting them to flee the tent. Although an avalanche could explain the hasty exit and severe injuries, critics argue that there was no clear evidence of an avalanche in the area, nor was their tent or supplies covered by snow in the way one would expect. Additionally, the hikers were skilled and would likely have recognized the warning signs of an impending avalanche. Infrasound theory. Another theory is that rare weather conditions created a phenomenon known as infrasound, which can induce feelings of unease and panic in humans. Infrasound, which is produced by wind interacting with the mountain, could have caused the hikers to experience irrational fear, leading them to flee the tent. However, this theory doesn't explain the physical injuries sustained by the hikers. Military testing. Given the traces of radiation found on some of the hikers' clothing, as well as reports of strange lights in the sky on the night of the incident, some have speculated that the group encountered a secret Soviet military test. This theory suggests that the hikers may have stumbled upon a parachute mine test or some other form of experimental weaponry. The powerful blasts from such devices could account for the internal injuries, and radiation exposure may explain the traces on their clothing. However, there is no official documentation of any military tests in the area. Yeti or cryptid attack. A more sensational theory proposes that the hikers were attacked by a Yeti or similar creature. Proponents of this theory cite the unusual injuries and missing tongue as evidence. While intriguing, there is little concrete evidence to support this, and it's generally dismissed by serious investigators. Paranormal or supernatural forces. Some speculate that supernatural forces were involved, suggesting that the hikers were victims of a malevolent entity or paranormal event. While no direct evidence supports this idea, the unusual circumstances surrounding the deaths continue to attract supernatural explanations. Internal conflict and delirium. Some theories suggest that psychological factors played a role, such as hypothermia-induced delirium or even internal conflict. Known as paradoxical undressing, hypothermic victims often undress themselves in a state of delirium, believing they are overheating. However, this theory falls short of explaining the injuries and why the hikers would have cut their way out of the tent. In 2019, 60 years after the incident, the Russian government reopened the case. In 2020, they concluded that an avalanche was the most likely cause of death. However, this conclusion has been met with skepticism, as it fails to address many of the perplexing details that remain unexplained. The Dyatlov Pass Incident continues to captivate researchers, filmmakers, and conspiracy theorists alike. It is an enduring mystery that defies logical explanation, a haunting reminder of nature's unpredictability and, perhaps, the limits of human understanding. The Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of the most baffling unsolved mysteries of modern history. Whether caused by natural forces, military experiments, or something far more sinister, the tragedy that befell the 9 hikers is a chilling reminder of how much we may never truly know. Their story is both a tragic tale of lost lives and a cautionary legend about the uncharted mysteries that lie hidden in the world's most remote corners.